Man, y'all need to start tuning in to the YouTube channel, The Bengals Genius Show.
Bengal Genius here with you for the post-game, post-draft wrap-up. It was a blast being down there. It was exciting to get to see my first NFL draft live and up close. The NFL and Detroit, they both did a phenomenal job. It was cool. Like, they had the whole big computer graphic thing up there, so every team that went up, the computer screen would come up, and it was just really well ran, and what a machine. And the producers, it was cool to see them all working. They were hustling, man, left and right. They had, they were like getting people, arranging them around in the seats and, coming up and trying to get the stuff going on stage in between. Simon Says, all this stuff. It was really impressive to see behind the scenes. I know you don't care about that. You want to get down to the business. But before I talk about the Bengals draft, I want to point out something, and I'm not doing this for clicks. It's a real thought I had. When I saw that the Bengals exercised the fifth-year option on Chase, what I realized is there's a possibility the Bengals might not extend Jamar Chase, but might extend T. Higgins. They could throw out a deal. They have a number that a premier wide receiver is going to get that they're going to pay. And they're going to say, take it or leave it. And then the guy's going to be, whichever one doesn't want it, they can leave. I just can't think of many scenarios in the NFL where you got the highest paid quarterback and the highest paid wide receiver. Maybe I'm blipping, but I remember that when the Packers were faced with this scenario, they ended up trading Devontae Adams. Of course, I love Chase. Of course, blibbity blabbity, and I understand that they're the chemistry and the bond that Joe Burrow has with Chase, but it does come down to the salary cap. Can you afford to pay all these guys? Now, I think the money is there. You can make it work. But can you make it work while still having a Super Bowl roster? And just keep in mind, before you say I'm nuts, that the Chiefs let Tyreek Hill go, and that was the same scenario. And who knows? We'll see if they can work it out or how it's going to play out. But it'll definitely be something to keep an eye on. And it'll get more heated as time goes on, but that doesn't change the fact that we're going to win the Super Bowl this upcoming season. Now let's get down to the draft, okay? Hey, everybody knows these grades, they're all a crapshoot because you really don't know how much the money's going to affect guys, how much that they got the work ethic, the drive, and the determination. All I know is this. You can take a look at Mims, our number one pick, and see the size of that guy, and he is a monster. He looks like Thanos compared to Ant-Man when he was sitting on an interview with a Bengal reporter, and it is impressive. And there is nothing but great reviews for him. Great pick. Chris Jenkins, number 2 pick. Another solid defensive productive guy. Jermaine Burton, everyone loves him. They said he was a real wild card. The guy's got great hands, can run great routes, and he's going to be an explosive big play guy. And these are the kind of guys that are going to help us if we have to get rid of one of the premier wide receivers that we have. Eric All, I talked to Michigan fans. The guy was a captain there. He had some big major injuries, though, so that's kind of a long shot to me. Anytime you're messing with a back, I don't like that, man. One time I had a weak back. Went to the doctor. He asked how long I hurt it. I said, about a week back. Well, sorry, man. That's an old joke. Josh Newton, cornerback. The guy was a captain at TCU. Played there 5 years. Hopefully he can contribute. We'll see. Lou is pretty good with cornerbacks usually. Tanner McLaughlin, tight end, Arizona. Once again, we will see. I've seen this before where they just take like a bunch of guys and hope somebody pans out. I cannot believe how much they've put into the tight end position this offseason. Like, that is something that clearly they are determined to upgrade. And I'm not upset that the Georgia boy wasn't there at their pick. I'm not a huge fan of taking a tight end in the first round. I always think back at Jermaine Gresham and the long list of first-round tight ends that hasn't worked out. I just think to be a truly great tight end, you have to be a blocker first. And a lot of times these guys who consider themselves kind of like a hybrid wide receiver, and that lacks a little bit of dog to them. Cedric Johnson, defensive end out of Ole Miss, don't know. Dejon Anthony, DB. I love the pick to Matt Lee, the center out of Miami, because that can add depth. And someone to groom behind Teddy Karras as it goes along. So we'll see what happens. This is an A draft. I give it an A because we did address the needs that I wanted to see us address. And it's, we'll just see what happens. Minicamp's going to come up fast. But I'll tell you the guy, the number one player I like, the undrafted free agent the Bengals just signed, is Trey Mosley, the wide receiver out of Michigan State. I am telling you for a fact, I know that dude's dad is a hardcore trainer. He's one of the premier trainers in Michigan. This guy's name is Bert Mosley, and the guy he's a Mick training machine. So what I'm saying is that I know Trey Mosley's going to put the work in. So it'll be nice to see him develop, but that's my number one undrafted free agent right now. So let's keep an eye on that guy. He's a wide receiver out of Michigan State, and let's see him make a mark on special teams. And, of course, that's how you got to do it. You got to break through on special teams, and Darren Simmons, when he falls in love with you, he'll keep an eye out for you. He'll give you a 4-year head start to develop in any other area that you want to. The guy is long. Running a 40 in about 4 or 5, so hopefully he can if he can learn the routes, you just never know. He might be a diamond in the rough. Another thing that was interesting to hear from this weekend's draft news and all the press conferences was that Dax Hill is going to be moved to cornerback full time. So they're going to have him with the cornerbacks. The guy can line up anywhere, but obviously he hasn't knocked the ball out of the park at safety, but he's so athletic and such a explosive player. There just has to be something that they can excel at. So I can only think that they're saying, hey, let's hone in and let this guy focus on one area so he's not scattered all over the place. So that'll be something good to keep an eye on as well. So the draft is behind us now. Now we go into the off-season grind. And you know what? This is good. This is where all of us recharge our batteries, refocus, and prepare for the long grind that's the NFL season. So up next is a schedule release show. We'll see what any news comes up along the way. Mini camps, of course, where we get to know all these players and all these guys. So many of them are captains and were real cornerstones of their team. So great personality guys, high character guys. Really was a great draft. Good job by the Bengals again in front office, and a good job especially for Duke Tobin since he was dealing with the passing of his father. So way to rally around him, boys, the rest of the team and all that. So let's go. We're going to buckle down, and let's see what happens next. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to watch the Bengal Genius Show.
The Bengals Genius Show.